A disgraced heir trains like a monster, then drags old Murim sins into daylight. Spoilers ahead for this Korean manhwa recap. Ridan Byok is not just a spoiled clan heir trying to fix his reputation. Inside him is the memory of Cheon Hajin, an old alliance lord who dies with regrets, wakes in a younger body, and suddenly has to clean up another man's ruined life while chasing the truth behind his own death. That is the hook. He has power, experience, and political instinct, but he is surrounded by people who only see the old wastrel. So every time he acts calm, it looks suspicious. Every time he shows skill, it creates questions. And now, after the earlier mess, the road forward is not just training. It is debt, hidden money, secret martial arts, and enemies who do not understand what kind of soul they are provoking. Ridan's path opens in a misty mountain waterfall, and it is not peaceful training. It is pressure. He moves through painful drills while a shadow-like instructor or inner guide watches him and pushes harder, almost like the old world itself is testing whether this new body deserves the memories inside it. His hands strike through spray, his body braces under force, and blue-white energy gathers around his clenched fist as exhaustion starts to bite. But he does not fold. Soon after, the focus shifts from raw practice to travel and duty. A written matter points him toward another destination, with elders discussing where he should go next, apparently tied to Hubei. Then a young woman in pink asks for sword instruction. He questions why she wants it, but when she swings with awkward intensity, his surprise tells you something important. Determination is becoming contagious around him. Ridan moves into the mountains alone, and the tone changes fast. The forest is wide, misty, and dangerous enough that rushing forward would be stupid, so he slows down and thinks like a survivor instead of a hot-blooded young fighter. That caution matters, because the deeper path leads him into a hidden cave, and inside is the kind of discovery Murim stories love to punish people with. He finds rare sungrass, but guarding it is a massive dark king viper, meaning the treasure and the death trap are sitting in the same room. Then it gets stranger. There are remains, an old manual connected to a powerful body art, and just enough clues for Ridan to realize the grass and the viper's poison may work together. Watch this. Instead of walking away, he extracts what he needs and takes the dangerous mixture into his own body. The poison trial does not just hurt Ridan. It pulls him inward. He sees a dark, memory-like space where a ruined, purple-veined figure crawls toward a glowing plant, desperate, broken, and still attached to survival. It is ugly, and it hits hard, because the scene feels less like a simple vision and more like a warning about what obsession turns a person into. Then the darkness gives way to a quiet exchange with an elderly white-haired figure, someone who seems to explain the meaning behind attachment, usefulness, and manipulation. When Ridan returns to himself in the icy cave, he is shaken, but he does not waste it. He sits, breathes, trains, and lets internal energy move through him. By the time he leaves with the manual or record, he has not just found a technique. He has inherited another person's unfinished lesson. After that heavy training, the story tightens around people instead of beasts. Ridan steps into a rural compound or sect settlement where every look feels measured. A black-haired young martial artist, elders, guards, a bearded middle-aged man, and an elderly white-bearded master trade serious words, and even though the exact details are guarded, the mood is clear. Something dangerous is being discussed, and nobody fully relaxes. The setting moves between courtyards, buildings, gates, and a traveler or messenger in a wide-brimmed hat, while a dark flying shape cuts through the air like a warning signal. Nobody openly explodes yet, but that is what makes it tense. These are Murim people talking around threats, testing reactions, and deciding who can be trusted. By the end, Ridan remains focused and wary, because whatever message is moving through this place, it is not harmless. Then the violence finally answers. In a snowy battlefield, a black-haired young swordsman cuts through attackers while blood marks the snow. And this is where the Asura wisdom sword emerges like something pulled from the edge of death. The technique is not treated like a flashy move. It feels like understanding sharpened into a blade. He survives because he risks everything. then returns to a hall and reflects on the power he has touched. Later, a bearded older master questions him over food and tea, pushing to know how he endured that lethal ordeal. The answer is simple, but brutal. He saw the line between life and death. The master recognizes that as real experience and grudgingly praises him as an abnormal young talent. But elsewhere, a red-robed woman and Murim Alliance figures begin circling a letter, a summons, and the same dangerous sword name. The storm pauses, but only on the surface. Ridden and several Murim figures gather for a tense, respectful conversation where the mood shifts from guarded suspicion towards something closer to acknowledgement. A black-haired young man speaks calmly. A bearded middle-aged man listens with concern. A young woman or girl is present, and an elderly white-haired man in formal robes carries the weight of authority in the room. There are gestures of respect, clasped hands, and careful words that suggest apology, gratitude, or a formal request, even when the exact reason stays partly hidden. That uncertainty actually works for the beat, because the scene is about old ties being handled carefully. Nobody swings a sword, but everyone is measuring what can be said without breaking the fragile peace. Then the elder walks away into a pale, misty landscape, and the silence feels final. Night falls around an inn, and the danger slips in wearing ordinary faces. Men sit with food and drink, speaking seriously, while a black-haired young man watches from nearby, like he already senses the mood turning wrong. A small girl appears anxious, protected by an older hand, and that single detail changes the scene from a normal dispute into something personal. The setting shifts through corridors, moonlit exteriors, mountain roads, and a blue-lit forest, as if the tension is moving from table talk into open conflict. Then the numbers start flying. 600, 1,000, 2,000. It feels like a wager, a price, or a challenge, but the result is clear either way. Armed men confront a masked black-clad martial artist. Big mistake. He moves cleanly, strikes with sweeping force, and bodies crash through the courtyard while he stands untouched. The masked swordsman enters a walled compound at night already injured or exhausted, which should make him look vulnerable. It does not. A guard spots him, the alarm rises, and armed men rush in thinking they have found a trapped intruder. But here is the thing. He keeps saying he will not kill them, and that restraint makes him scarier, not softer. He is not fighting to slaughter. He is fighting to reach someone or something, and anyone standing in the way gets dismantled. His swordwork cuts through defenders, elders, and guards with wind or water-like force, leaving people dropped across the courtyard without confirming their deaths. Then a stronger bald martial artist steps forward and releases a heavy wave-like attack. For a second, it looks like the compound finally has an answer. The masked swordsman cuts through it anyway, and the duel keeps burning. Ridden then reveals the kind of victory that matters more than a clean duel. At night, he watches over the aftermath of the Ma Fengji and Baekpyo situation, and instead of celebrating, he apologizes as an adult to the people hurt by the mess. The children will be sent home. The older criminals will be imprisoned. He understands that Ma Fengji's rotten position and the Murim Alliance's distance can be used to protect Baekpyo's family, and he also counts on Sim Tan avoiding a deeper investigation into Zhao Di's death. Then Ridden finds a secret code hidden in a necklace, a thread he cannot solve yet. Soon after, he catches a man sneaking into a hidden storehouse, proving he already knew stolen profits had to be kept somewhere. The next day, he turns that dirty money toward a trading company. The final stretch moves quietly, but it carries weight. Under a night sky, a long-haired young martial man questions older figures and a younger companion about a hidden past. A certain man, an old group, and a saved family sit at the center of the conversation, and the argument is not just about facts. It is about whether someone deserves the truth, even if that truth opens pain instead of gratitude. The younger companion does not understand why they should tell him, but the answer is sharp. A person who owes thanks should be allowed to give it, even if the first response was anger. Later, the scene shifts into a formal meal where a large elder tests the young man's knowledge, motive, and connection to past events. By the end, permission is not full trust, but it is enough to continue. while watchers remain outside. What makes this stretch work is that Ridden is not just getting stronger. He is learning how to redirect consequences. Training gives him body power. The cave gives him painful insight. The Asura wisdom sword gives him a name other people cannot ignore. But the most dangerous part of him is still the old Alliance Lord's mind. He protects families by understanding politics. He turns criminal money into a future trade network. He treats debts as living things that must be answered, not buried. And that is why his second life keeps expanding. Every secret he touches connects to another person, another faction, another wound from the past. By the end, Ridden is no longer just repairing a wastrel's reputation. He is building a quiet power base while old Murim ghosts begin turning their heads toward him. Subscribe for the next recap, because Ridden's new life is turning every old debt into a battlefield.